What's up, Hollywire? Gabby Conti here with Kiesza. Kiesza, thanks for joining us.
Hey, I'm so nice to be here. Thanks for having me. Get about to drop this album. We're finishing up the next album. Because Dancing and Crying is a series, so I'm like always preparing the next like volume three while putting out
Right.
before. So it's a lot, but
So is volume one technically what you came out with years ago, or was there a volume one I missed?
volume one is you missed it. It was last year.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
And
I mean,
then
it's like
and then
oh,
this is volume two, and then you're working on volume three.
volume three and four simultaneously because so it start Dancing and Crying started as like a concept of like a series that I wanted to do because I find a lot of times when I have a vision for like a project, I don't necessarily want to put an end on it because it's like a sound that I'm developing or it's a part of myself that I'm exploring. So I made it a series so that I can always add on to it as I'm exploring this sort of angle or side of myself. So Dancing and Crying was my sort of personal and artistic exploration inside the world of dance music, but still trying to like push the boundaries and make it personal and authentic. And then also explore different sides of myself that maybe like Dancing and Crying 2 is a really good example because it's a much more sexy kind of kinky expression which I've always shied away from publicly to a certain degree. And I think it's a lot to do with my upbringing and things like that. And but then there's I just feel like we all have that kinky side, whether or not we want to admit it. And I was like, I should just let me just try going into this space and see how I feel. And I've had some of the most fun I've ever had with music. And then it sort of made me rethink Dancing and Crying Volume 2 because it was only supposed to be a couple of songs, but then Volume 2 just became basically this whole expression. And Volume 1 was a mix. It was like clubby tracks and then a mix of like folk Americana mixed with house.
Ooh.
And so it was supposed to be kind of more eclectic, but because of the way that Dancing and Crying 2 came together, I had some more very like folky, poetic songs that were supposed to be mixed in, but I actually bundled those onto a whole other Dancing and Crying. And then they got kind of pushed to Dancing and Crying 4 because some other things we had in mind, which are a little more like diva and stuff, got pushed to 3. So it's all just like moving around as we go.
If you were to
Um,
define each dancing and crying by like one word to like differentiate the choices of putting these songs on this album and these songs on the other, what would be those like four different words for each album?
Dancing and Crying 1, eclectic.
Okay.
Dancing and Crying 2, sensual,
Mm.
kinky, I don't
Yep.
know.
I got
Dancing
that.
and 3, it's in the works. It's wild diva. There's a little wildness about it. I think it's almost like two words. Dancing and Crying 4 is anthemic poetry.
Mm. And
It, yeah.
would you say it's more of that folk? Because I've heard you say in interviews before how like Bob Dylan's an influence of yours and like that was kind of like more of like your
Uh,
music, right? Was like
there is
folk.
there's one song which is very Bob Dylan influenced. I don't know. It kind of falls between worlds. There's some songs that like are the lines are a bit blurred, so it's like, does this go on 3 or 4? And it's nice because they kind of bridge or they connect different ones together.
Right.
There is one that's very Bob Dylan influenced, and I'm not sure necessarily where to put that one right now. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, there it's I think a lot very influenced by my upbringing in Calgary, which
Right.
is very like country, Americana, bluegrass. There's a song literally with like yodeling.
And you were in the Navy at one point, right?
I was when I was 16, 17, 18, 19 for like 4 years. I joined when I was in grade 11.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I basically left when I started going to college because I realized I wanted to do music. And I honestly I joined the Navy because I'd seen boot camp in movies and I was like, I like a challenge. I'm very much a competitive personality, or was much more back then. I think I'm a lot different now. Um, but I was like, oh, I'd love to see if I can get through boot camp. And then, I mean, for a teenager, it was like 6 or 7 grand for the summer. I mean, that's a lot of
That's a
money.
lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like, oh, I'll come out with a paycheck, and then I excelled at a lot of things. I was great at Morse code, so I went into NavCom, which is like naval communication, was doing coding and stuff
How
like
does
that.
Morse code and making house music, is there any like similarity between that?
It's pattern based.
Right?
Yeah, very pattern based. I think that I mean just the fact that I excelled at Morse code and I excel at music, I think maybe I'm good at identifying certain patterns.
And
And
dance, too. You're such a talented dancer and singer.
thank
Like I
you.
feel like that's all rhythm.
It's all rhythm, yeah. Morse code is very rhythmic because you have to be able to quickly identify certain patterns like da 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 da, da, and you have to know that's one letter, that's another letter, and they go fast. So like differentiating one to the
Speaking
next.
of patterns, I heard that you're doing stand-up comedy, which makes
Ah,
a
yep,
lot of sense because joke writing is so formulaic, and so there's so many
yeah.
patterns in, like finding that. So, what has that
It's
been like, and how has stand-up changed your perspective on music as you're making these albums and performing them?
I actually have been writing jokes about the fact that music and comedy, as similar as they are, they're also complete opposites. Like
Sure.
people will come to my show and like congratulate me if I make them cry. But God forbid if someone cries in a comedy show, you've
Well,
done something terribly
you
wrong.
need to be in storytelling then. You have to like do the
Yeah.
moth and stuff and tell these emotional stories.
Yeah, and if someone's laughing at your song, usually there's something going wrong as well. So it's like yin and yang for me, even though there is a there that I have noticed there's a pattern in like writing a poem. There's different kinds of poems. There's a haiku, and there's like the poems themselves have rhythm. So if you think of stand-up comedy, like the setup, punchline, and then the tag, there is its own rhythm. It's just longer.
Yeah.
So I have to get used to the fact that I have to like I first of all I have to be more direct. Like when I
Mm.
was first writing my comedy, they were like, "You're being too poetic," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "You're so poetic." And then I was like, "Oh well, I'm a songwriter. That makes sense." So I have to like, I'm like, how do I
Right.
not be poetic? I actually don't know how not to be poetic when I write. So I had to learn to just be very like cut out all the fat.
Mm.
And yeah, and then like trying different again, I'm like experimenting with comedy, so I'm like trying different sides of myself and I'll say something that's vulnerable and I'll be like, "Oh no, I don't think I can I tried, but I don't think I'm ready to go there with myself," or that's too personal or like
Would you
I
ever
mean,
take your stand-up and do it in the banter when you're performing, like in between your sets?
well, how it all started was Ellen DeGeneres was doing her retirement tour, and
Mhm.
she was a fan of Hideaway, big fan of
Right.
Hideaway. And she just texted me about Dancing and Crying one randomly. It was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe how much I love this new project. I wish I had my show to push it. Is there anything I can do?" And I was just like, "No, I'm just so happy you love it." And she was like, "Well, I'm going on tour." I told her I was in Toronto. She was like, "Do you want to just open up for me in Toronto?" She's
Wait,
like,
okay, I heard the version of this story where you're like, my friend had a comedy show. I didn't know that friend was Ellen DeGeneres.
"Yeah, yeah." It's kind of hilarious because like now in comedy, I'm
Hilarious.
like when I tell people that like my first comedy show was opening for Ellen, but I didn't plan that. It's just she asked me to do acoustic because the comedy show basically is an
Right.
acoustic. Kind of weird if I did a full like electronic show and then she
Yeah.
comes out with one mic. But most of my acoustic songs either sound sad or kind of like even if they're happy, they like the version of Hideaway on an acoustic guitar sounds a lot more sad than the dance
Of
version.
course. Yeah.
I'm like, what if I was worried I'd go out and like depress her audience or not warm them up in the way that they're ready to just burst out laughing, even though I know Ellen fans are like diehard. So I decided to tell jokes and write jokes between my songs so I could at least try to be a good comedy warm-up act. And they laughed.
That's
And
amazing.
it shocked me because I was like fully prepared for them not to laugh at my jokes. But I was like, I'm a musician. I'd like they don't expect me to be funny, and at least they'll know I'm trying. But they really did laugh very hard, and I was shocked, and I kind of got the bug. And so, yeah, she's indirectly responsible for me becoming a stand-up comedian. And yeah, it was kind of funny because where her stand-up career kind of retired, my career began unexpectedly. I don't know if it's going to be a career, honestly, but it's fun. It's good for me because I've been through a lot of pain and struggle the last sort of almost coming up like 8 years since my car crash. And I mean, I never thought I could dig up a brain injury in a car crash and make it funny, but I've found ways, and like being able to turn these sort of the hardest things in your life into something that has light in it, or like that you can kind of laugh off yourself, is a very healing process, I found. And
Definitely.
yeah, and even some people are like, I can't believe you said that. It can be
I
so
think that's it
self-deprecating.
though. That's
Yeah.
comedy, you know?
And like, how do you, how do you find the person in the room with a brain injury? Just turn on some strobe lights and watch them just fall to the floor.
One of my
Like,
really good friends has a brain injury too. And so to hear your story, it's just so inspiring to see how you've completely, I mean, I know you must be struggling and having your own issues on a day-to-day basis. Every day is different, but like the fact that you are able to make not one, but three albums and be performing is incredible. So
thank you.
well, how did you do that, first of all? And then do you have any advice for anyone? Because I feel like we all get to these points where we feel like we're at our rock bottom and we don't know how to get out of it. So what advice would you have for people who might be feeling
Um,
like
really listening to your body and like honoring what it's telling you. We all want to like be at the top all the time. And I realized that me being at the top meant being in pain. Like I can function at a level maybe higher than what I'm necessarily doing right now, but it comes with like me having a lot of headaches. And that also means that my body is not in a good place. And for me to be healing at a consistent rate, because I just believe you can, that healing is a progressive thing. Like my neurologist told me, like after 2 to 3 years, like that's pretty much what you can expect.
that?
And that was not the case. Like I just I keep working on my own healing and I keep getting better. Um, but when your body's telling you stop, you need to stop. And like this literally happened to me this week. I canceled a whole trip to Los Angeles the day of because I just could feel my whole brain being overwhelmed.
Wow.
And I get down on myself. Like I'll in those moments I'll feel like, oh, I'm like, oh, I just hate I hate that I have to do this, or like I sometimes want to push through and be like, no, I'm going to get on the plane. I'm going to do it anyways. But I had to just step back and be like, what is my body telling me? And I'm about to go on tour and I have to, it's saying rest. Like,
Mhm.
please just give me a moment. And I learned that if you give your body what it needs, you'll get to where you want to go. You might not get there as fast, but you're going to feel good along the way. You're going to feel so much better. And feeling good is so important for the experience of your life. Like, it's not worth doing anything if you're in pain or if you're struggling or suffering in any way. Um, I mean, I mean, everything, there's always a level of suffering, I think, to everything in life, but you need to be able to smell the flowers for real. And, and it's okay. It's like, I'm okay that I'm not like at the level maybe in the public eye that I was before because I'm taking care of my own health. And it's happening in its own organic way. Like, it's interesting. Like, I noticed the new song like stays in bed. We've had like little accomplishments. Stays in bed is the first song that within the first month of releasing it is now showing like its its numbers is like top trending next to Hideaway.
Wow, that's
My
incredible.
charts. I've never, and it's an independent, my own record label, nothing else pushing it, just organic word of mouth.
Wow.
So that like the organic reach is happening on its own. And I realized by just being consistent and also like being vulnerable, I've been very vulnerable about my story.
Yeah.
It's hard because like I'll just get fully into my kinky self and I have my vinyl pants on and then I just have a crash day and I'm like, I just want to wear sweatpants and look like I'm homeless.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do I be sexy? But then I have to remember like, okay, I'm a human. I'm like, I'm not going to be at my sexiest every moment of life. And even though, like, I think a lot of artists, it's like, this is my look for this era, and I wear this wig and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, not today. I'm like on camera with no makeup, being like, hey guys, I'm just reminding you about my tour, but I'm like here with my dog and like in her pajamas. And I'm like, yeah, I think I've connected more with my my fans on like a more personal level because I've just accepted reality, my own reality. And also I think seeing artists um more in a more real way does help people connect to you as well. Because they know you have bad days, and I think that's everyone has bad days, and you don't always know that. when you see their profiles looking so perfect.
So true. Well, speaking about your tour and this album, so the album comes out on July 25th, right?
Yes,
And
crazy. And this is a fun one. This is
yes.
like, oh my gosh. There's one song on this, and I don't know how I did it. It was my one genius moment, I think, in life.
Oh,
Um, I freestyled the whole thing in one take. I didn't write it.
wow.
I was I was just joking. I was like, what would happen if like a Shakespeare poem was on a house track? And then I told my producer, I was like, just pass me the mic. Let me just experiment. And in one take, there's no
And
edits.
that's the take on the album.
Yeah, and I have never said it
Which
since.
track
And
is that?
it's called To Die to Sleep. It's that's
Okay.
named
Yeah,
after.
yeah.
And at
Very,
the very end I did recite an actual Shakespeare poem.
which
But
one?
that was the one from Hamlet, to die to
Yeah,
sleep.
yeah, got it. Yeah.
So yeah, because it's a poem that I freestyled, so there's no audible chorus. So I'm like, what do I name this? And then I was like, let me just throw some Shakespeare on the end, and that will give me a title.
I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What's with
But
you
they,
and
yeah,
one takes, your one take video for Hideaway, which I'm sure took more, you probably didn't get that all in one take, right? Even though it was one take, right?
it was one take. We got it on the second take.
Wow, that's insane.
But
That's
we had rehearsed it. Like we had rehearsed
yeah,
it.
or
So
oh
we had
yeah, that has
rehearsed
to
the
be
one. Yeah.
sourced.
We are like, I think we're ready now. And then
Yeah.
we went. And
No, those people
honestly,
just randomly popped up and
first and the second, I think even the third were great. It's just the one that felt the best was the second. And there's a lot of mistakes on it, honestly. But
it's great. It's a well,
yeah,
it's
so this is my one take video. This is my one take song.
one
But
take wonder.
honestly, I don't normally freestyle on that level of like
Yeah.
there usually I freestyle songs and melodies, but I'll get some of the lyrics and then I have to go back and like think through and figure it out. Not one edit, nothing. Like it
Wow.
blows my mind. I don't even know the song. I have to still memorize it. I'm like, oh, and there's so many words that it's a bit intimidating, but that's really fun. And then one song, "It's My Birthday," was literally me joking on the mic on my birthday. I was not planning on writing a birthday song. I was just warming up and getting ready to start the session. But then when we played back, it was so catchy that I was like, am I gonna be one of those people with a cheesy birthday song? I think it's
I
happening.
loved it. It's my birthday tomorrow, so it was like really getting me in the mood.
Did
And
you hear it?
yeah, and then also
Oh,
there's
good.
not a lot of birthday songs besides the happy birthday song. You say it's your birthday, right? Like,
Right. And this is fun. It's
yeah,
my
it's great.
birthday.
It's a perfect birthday song.
It's also one of the lines is "It's my birthday, even if it isn't." So you can also
Play it
jam
any
it's not your birthday.
I love it.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, yeah, that's
and your
funny.
and your tour's coming up in August. So what are there any dates that you really want to let our audience know that they should go get? Are you in Los Angeles or
Los Angeles is September. I really hope I get this right. I think it's September 27th.
okay, maybe we could well we won't put this. We'll put your dates in there,
Yeah.
your dates in the description. So definitely check out your tour dates and everything. And congratulations on the new album and the tour. And I can't wait for part 3 and part 4.
Oh, I can't wait for it as well. I hope people are okay with the fact that they're going to be very different. That's the one thing that, because if they're like, oh, it's like we love so erotic, and then I just drop a yodeling song and they're confused, I just want to let them know in advance, like this is what you're in for on
It's
Dancing and
great though. I
Crying.
think you're going to attract new fans. And I think that fans today have proven that they love multi-genre. I mean, look at Taylor
Yeah,
Swift's fans or Beyonce's fans. So
totally. Yeah,
I
that's a
think
good point.
it's great.
Hi, what's up? I'm Kiesza, and you're watching Hollywire.